Hey, what's good, y'all? Kether here, and welcome back to the channel for another video. Now, today's video is going to be rather short, I think. I don't know. Depends on how long I'm going to talk about it. And serious, because today we're going to be looking at a video I found on Twitter that has sparked controversy because of how the situation went out. Unfortunately, I can't show the entirety of the video. As a matter of fact, I don't think I can even show that video at all. So the best I can do is just leave the link of the twin question description for you to see for yourself, or even maybe get a screenshot so you can get a better idea of what happened. But basically the video involves someone driving in a small street at what I can presume to be speed limit, according to most people in the comments section of the tweet itself. Then some random little girl comes out of absolutely nowhere right in front of the driver, just straight up putting the driver in question in a very stressful situation in which he had to act quickly and hit the brakes. The little girl still got bumped, but thankfully the driver was quick enough to hit the brakes so that the outcome doesn't get as bad as it could have been. The little girl could have suffered from severe injury if the driver wasn't quick enough and even maybe end up being unable to move her body for the rest of her life. In short, pretty much fucking her life over from the point of just simply being a toddler and stripping away all odds of her becoming a fully independent adult one day due to the fact that she would have needed a caretaker in order to be able to sustain her basic human needs. But thankfully, the situation didn't end up that way. At worst, she might have a few significant injuries and some permanent mental trauma from this, which is still pretty sad regardless, but at least the worst case scenario has been avoided because the driver at least hit the brakes shortly before the impact happened, pretty much just softening the blow as much as he could. Now, the reason as to why this is controversial is because some people take the driver's side because he was driving at a reasonable speed, within the speed limit in other words, pretty much saying that it's not the driver's fault if he almost ran over a child. Meanwhile, other people take the parents' side because the fact remains that the driver almost ran over a child because he was going too fast, according to them. After watching the video several times in order to be able to fully understand the context, I decided that the parent was to blame for this situation, and you'll soon understand why. Just bear with me and hear me out. Now, before I show the evidence to support my argument, I just want to make a disclaimer that if YouTube decides that even just a picture before the incident happened is still an issue regardless, I'll have to edit that out if they ask me to do so because, again, this is a serious topic. I just got accepted into the YouTube partner program, and the last thing I want is to get age restricted or even maybe get a strike. But with that out of the way, let's get into it. So you can see right here, milliseconds before the impact happened, that the parent was not looking at their child. The quality of the video isn't great and all, but you can still see that the parent wasn't doing the best job at supervising their child. Basically doing some maintenance onto the house the family lives in, I assume, just by looking at the ladder that sits on the fence. Either way, I think we can all agree when I say that when your child is outside the perimeter of the house, you should not only supervise them, but also make sure that their surroundings are safe for the child as well. If the parent paid attention to the child instead of doing whatever the fuck he was doing right here, none of this would have happened. This situation was 100% avoidable in so many ways if you simply did your job as a parent. You could have supervised them while also being at a closer distance in order to react just in time, or even better, you could have kept your child in the front yard within the perimeter that is separated from the road by the fence, but instead, you went with the assumption that you would be able to do some outside maintenance to your house in peace with your child remaining in place. And yet look what the fuck just happened. Your child was so close to dying in the middle of the road because your eyes were away from them for even just a second. You should count yourself lucky that your child is still alive and this incident didn't end as bad as it could have. Because if the worst case scenario ended up happening, that would have been on you. You alone would be responsible for the worst outcome because of your lack of focus, of your surroundings, and lack of supervision towards your child. You would have had to bear those haunting thoughts of what happened over and over again, basically just playing in your mind again and again, and the painfully heavy weight on your shoulders for the rest of your life. because you did the fatal mistake of not being mindful of what was going on around you for even just a second. So I truly don't understand why you felt the need to slam your fist on the hood of the driver's car as if it was the driver's fault. The driver was within the speed limit. You were looking away from your child for whatever reason. So I think anyone with an IQ of at least 30 can understand who's at fault here. So because you didn't do your job as a parent in, again, a situation that was 100% avoidable, your child is now traumatized for life, most likely to the point where they'll have this huge fear of the thought of having to cross the road at some point. The driver's traumatized as well, because they know they would have had to bear the thought in the weight of having accidentally ran over a child for the rest of their life. You just proved that you do not have what it takes to be a parent. Everyone involved in this situation loses in one way or another, all because you failed your job as a parent to ensure the safety of your child whenever they are outside of the house. If God is real, you should thank him with all of your soul, because after what happened, it's a fucking miracle that your child is still alive despite getting bumped by a car. If there are any parents watching this video, whether you've been parenting for years or you're new at it because you just got your first child, I hope you learned something from this. I want you to put yourself in this guy's shoes and think to yourself what you would have done in order for this kind of incident to never happen in the first place. Because if there is something in life that is for certain, it's this. As a parent, you should never reach a point in your life where you end up outliving your child, your own flesh and blood, your own creation. Because if it does happen, can you really consider yourself as a good parent? You would have to try to figure out what you did wrong while you were raising your child, while also having to endure the pain, the haunting thoughts, and the weight on your shoulders of having witnessed the descendants of your own bloodline pass away. And that most likely could have been avoided as well, if you played your part better in some way. So please, be grateful as a parent to be able to see your family alive and well every day. Don't ever take this shit for granted, because nowadays in 2025, you never know what could happen the next day, whether it be for the best or for the worst. Anyways, so with that being said, thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you guys liked what you saw, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as any form of support means a lot to me. If you want to show some extra support, feel free to become a channel member. You'll get amazing perks in return that will make your time worth it. Make sure to also turn on the notification bell so that you guys don't miss out on any of my future videos. This was Kether, teaching a grown-ass man how to be a parent. I'll catch you all in the next one. Have a good one. Peace.